a lot of problems of adults are from childhood trauma. You wouldn't really think that, oh my gosh, you've undergone that kind of problem. Oh my gosh, you've undergone these things and you're still here and you're still breathing and smiling.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing.
Hello Soul Tribes, it's me, Donna Bliss. Today I'm going to share, of course, my epiphany. And it started when I was listening to Taylor Swift's new album. I love her lyrics and I can relate to all her songs, especially those about heartbreaks. And these lyrics particularly it's like synchronized to when I was talking to my friend yesterday. The song where the lyric says, "My boy only destroy the toy that he loves," something like that. And I was talking to a very, very close friend yesterday, and the subject was, we only destroy something we don't value. Now, it's a very broad subject. It can be with nature. If we don't teach our kids to love nature, of course, they will destroy it, they will trash it. But when they're little, if we teach them to respect nature and to love it and don't trash it, then it will be passed on to their kids. Well, with love, it's the same. It's like if you were not taught by your parents how to love in a healthy way, and it's like a generational toxic patterns you pass along. These unhealthy patterns was passed along from your granddad. While my friend was talking about her childhood, in a way I feel honored that this close friend of mine told me her life story. She told me, fortunately, that she has undergone the dark night of the soul and she's healed from it just lately. Sometimes we question some people or even ourselves. Why do we sabotage relationship? Why do we push away people that we love most? Why do we say no to true love? Why are we too afraid? Why do we have this negative pattern or toxic pattern? Her story will make you think or make you realize that maybe that's also your reason or some people's reason why they destroy something that's good for them. And so this friend told me when she was in grade 6 that she was doing self-harm. She enjoys slashing her leg. And it was very unfortunate because it was when she was in the university. I think she said it was child psychology. When she had that subject, she realized that she was abused by her carer, by her parent. And so that's why she enjoyed it. She said that that's why when she was an adult and she started having relationships with men, she always distrust men for some reason. That moment time when negative pattern with relationship showed up in her life, she started to expect that all relationships are gonna be negative because from her parents it was already unhealthy. So the unhealthy relationship became her norm, right? The good thing was, she said, that she never hurt herself when she was with relationships. She said there was a time when she almost took her life, but she asked for help. When we grew up in a place where it is unsafe, where there's inconsistency, like if our parents never showed us that in our home, we were taught from early age that love is painful. For example, if our parents always tells us to repress that feeling, you can't do this, you can't do that because it's, you're a man, you need to be a man and repress it. And if you tell these guys to a 4-year-old 5-year-old boy, it's incorrect because little people don't know how to regulate yet, isn't it? This is what I learned from child psychologists, that you let kids cry because course, they need to express that they're upset or they're in pain. Going back to my friend with her self-harm, when she was an adult, she said that she started just being dependent on alcohol to numb the pain. Also, this unhealthy pattern of pushing away people, especially the people she loved. And she said it has become her pattern. I know for some of you, self-harm is quite difficult to understand, especially if we never really done it to ourselves. But with a person growing up with a parent that's not safe, which means that this parent has been almost verbally abusing the kid almost every day. Just a little bit of example is you've been told since you were young that you're stupid, or is that you're worthless, that I don't love you, I don't want you to be my kid, or if only I can turn back time, I don't want you to be around and I don't want you to be my kid. If you've been told that over and over every day, and it is coming from the only person that you depend on, of course your self-worth will be so low, because it's like, oh my gosh, nobody loves me, even my parents. Which means that if nobody cares for you, why would you care for yourself? And so when you understand this concept, that's why kids grow up to be bullies, grow up to be dependent on drugs, or be with the wrong crowd, because they feel more love to these kinds of group of people who are also unhealthy, because they'd rather be with those unhealthy people than with their carer, because probably being with their carer, they don't feel love, so they'd rather spend their time there somewhere else, even if they're selling drugs or selling illegal stuff or doing bad things. But because they feel accepted there in that environment, then they'd rather hang out with those kinds of people. Listening to my friend, it was like, wow, if you've gone through that kind of darkness and you've healed from it, oh my gosh, you're one of the luckiest person on earth. And she said to me it took her 4 decades to finally heal her past. And it is just so fortunate that her journey has a happy ending. She didn't, end up in prison or worse. Listening to her made me realize that, oh my gosh, when I look at her, it seems like she's got this really, really good life. You can tell from, the way she was raised externally. When you see her parents, when you see their family, they seem to be like a normal one and a happy one. But when I talk to her, you wouldn't really consider still breathing and smiling. And the best of all, sharing your story with somebody like me who can share the story, so that other people also who can relate or who can resonate will feel like, oh my gosh, if that person healed from that kind of experience, that means maybe I can too. Thank you very much for sharing your story, because I see a lot of therapists in YouTube. They're saying about a lot of problems of adults are from childhood trauma. Some people just live life like doing the cycle over and over, doing the same negative patterns over and over. And I am guilty of this, because before I didn't know why I had to break up with men and always have these negative patterns. It's only when you have no choice but to research why you're like this, why you're like that, and to look at your past, what happened there, and be honest to yourself. That maybe it's time for a change. Something like that. And she said it took her almost 2 years to finally reconcile with her parent, the one who abused her. Because she said, I cannot judge my parent because she did what was best for me at that time. And the way she treated me was the way she was treated also by her mom or dad. And so even if she wanted forgiveness from her parent, she can't, because what if the parent is not aware what she did? And it's not that the parent was in denial, but if the parent grew up in that kind of environment, then that's what was normal for her. The only reason my friend was telling me she healed from it, because you know that thing they said, you cannot be held liable if you don't know what you're doing. For example, is crazy, doesn't know what's right or wrong. Of course, you cannot put them in a normal prison. They have to be in like an institution with mentally insane. So she said that's how she forgave her parent who abused her, because probably no matter how she explains to her parent that this is what you did to me, blah, 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 the parent will just say, I don't remember doing that. Of course not, I didn't do that. You can't really expect anything from the parent, isn't it? So she said she cannot control other people's brain, but the only thing she can control is herself. So now that she has gone all through this personal development, like me, because I encourage her to research if she can't afford therapy. There's a lot of content in YouTube about child psychology, childhood trauma. Anything about trauma you can find in YouTube. You just have to find the right person for you, because there's a lot of them. And some of them you can relate to, and some of them you can't. So that's why I said to her, find your free therapist in YouTube. That's what she did. So I'm very happy for her, because she's finally made a commitment to herself to always be compassionate, especially with her parent. You know, deserve also some credit, because they did their best. Truly, most of our parents did their best, and that's the only thing we can do in this world, do our best. Sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not, and it's okay. At least it's our best. I hope this helped. I do hope that you out there who's got issues, who needs answers to your questions, I just hope you find your answers, because you know, when you research, you will find a lot, especially in YouTube. There's a lot of free therapy classes. There's a lot of psychologists there who can help you with your issue, whatever it is, I'm sure, because I'm one of the people who has been researching about how to be a better human being, and YouTube helped me a lot. I hope that someday, or if you have a friend who needs help, especially about trauma, I hope that you will pass along this video, because I know that this would help somebody out there. Light and love.